The Dot Rise Easter egg is only completable on 4-player, but if you drag and drop these GSC files I have in the description in this directory, you will be able to play it with any amount of players. Spawn in and head down into the elevator shaft to get to the bank. Now, if you have no money in your bank, I have 3 methods where you can fill them up on transit with the MP5, just running around for multiple rounds. You can go into buried and get the sniper long shot perk, which allows you to get a ton of points, and you can even pair that up with the PhD perma perk on buried to fill up the bank of a maximum of 250,000 points. And the last method I have is another GSC file where you place it in the ZM folder. Literally just spawn into transit, die, rise, whatever map it is, and then as soon as you ADS and knife, you will be able to get 10,000 points. This is obviously just a script that you can do on PC. The other 2 methods you can do for console, and all you have to do again is just run all the way to the bank. You can play on transit, die, rise, buried, it doesn't matter, and then place it all into the bank as soon as you get there. The first step of both sides of the die, rise Easter egg is to turn on the power. Then you have to build the nav card table, and you can find the board right next to where you have to build it underneath the tower. The radio box is just on the other side. The power box is right next to where the mystery box spawn location is, and the rock is in that heap of garbage. Build the nav card table to start the Easter egg. The next step, there are 4 elevators. One has a symbol right next to the power switch, one has one next to the MP5, another one has one behind the Tramplesteam, and the last one you have to have on the quicker vibe machine. If you hit them in the right order on co-op, or just stand on the correct one on solo, and it glows like that, you have completed this step. Now the next step, you have to build a Tramplesteam. The flag can either spawn on that fence or on the chair. The engine can either spawn right on that desk or in this corner. The bellows can spawn right on that trash heap or up on top of the stairs. And the fence can spawn on this trash heap or next to that wall. You can part switch each of these parts by spamming the activate button and leading them all towards this edge. Go down a floor where the PDW is to bring them all down there and build the Tramplesteam. The next step, you have to stand on 4 symbols in order. The first one is at spawn, the second one is at to the bank, the third one is at the cafeteria, and then the last one is all the way at the grenade wall buy. If you click them all in the right order, they should glow. If you don't, just go another round. Once that step is done, go to the SVU wall buy and shoot both of the balls out of the dragon's mouth. And now each side is going to be different. For the Richtofen side, make sure the die rise elevator symbol is glowing orange or not glowing. And again, like I said, you can only do it 4 players. The nav card table is required, but once you've built it, it should be good. This step now, you have to build the Sliquifier. The handle could be right there or in the kitchen right next to the buildable table. The top part could be on this barrel behind the buildable table or right next to the bank. The stock will always be directly above the buildable table, and then the gas canister will be to the right of the buildable or to the right of the power switch. Build all of that to acquire the Sliquifier, then go back up to spawn and shoot each of the balls 20 times with this Sliquifier until you can start seeing them move horizontally. Once they start moving horizontally, now you are able to complete the next step, which you do require the Tramplesteam. And again, if all 4 players are here, they all need the Tramplesteams to be able to do this step. You have to place the Tramplesteam in one of 4 spots on solo, either right there to lead towards the tower. There's 2 spots that 2 players should place them over here, and then the last spot is right next towards the grenade wall buy. And you need to get a bunch of zombie kills with the Tramplesteam. It's about 15, and once you have done that, the tower should start to have a bunch of fireworks and should start glowing blue. Now for this step, you need to find 11 Mahjong tiles and try to find an order which matches the colors of what this image shows here, and obviously make sure to grab the Galvanuckles for this next step. So the first spot you can find is at the tower. It will always be north. The second spot is at the escalator near spawn. The third spot is at spawn, and again, they all match to a corresponding north, east, south, west, and then the numbers will show you where wherever they are. The fourth location is behind PDW. The fifth location is near the power box for the nav card. The sixth location is at the MP5 kitchen. The seventh location is near the mystery box on the cushion. The eighth one is just below the Galva Knuckles, just below the window barrier. The ninth one is right next to a teddy bear. The 10th one is just behind the Sliquifier buildable table on this rack. And then the 11th one is in the power room on this table to the right of the switch. Once you have your code and you know what colors it aligns to, you can see here that my code for this game was southwest northeast. And I was able to input that code and be able to beat the Richtofen Side Easter egg. And once you beat this Easter egg, it doesn't matter what side you get, you actually get all of the perks, which is a much better reward than transit. For the Maxis side, just make sure that the elevator symbol is glowing blue or not glowing at all. And again, you can check this also by checking the tower. And also just make sure that you're doing this 4 players on console, or unless you all are running the mod to be able to do it with 1 to 3 players. For this side, you don't need the Sliquifier, but you do need to get the mystery box and get the ballistic knife. Now, once you get the ballistic knife, make sure you do not buy Galva Knuckles or the Bowie knife until the very last step, and then pack-a-punch the ballistic knife. Once you have pack-a-punched the ballistic knife, you need to go towards the Buddha room and get 15 kills. Maxis will tell you to keep going, and once you have gotten about 15 kills, he'll tell you to then reincarnate, and what you need to do with that is then shoot a ballistic knife on the floor. Remember, all the zombies that you have to take out must be on the floor. Do not take them out on the elevated level in the Buddha room. Make sure they are on the floor. Once you hear that quote, once you have shot the ballistic knife, you now need to bring the Tramplesteam to these 4 spots. This first spot is right at spawn. If you're with the mod, it will actually tell you if you've done it correctly if you cannot pick up the Tramplesteam. The second spot is at the power box corner for the nav card table. The third spot is just below the escalator next to spawn. And then the fourth spot is going to be right next to where the 2 elevators are. And what you're going to want to now do is run back to spawn and pick up the balls from the statue. You can only pick up 1 at a time and place them on the Tramplesteam. If you see it bouncing back and forth, you've done it correctly. Now grab the second ball and go towards the one underneath the escalator, and if you've placed them correctly, both the balls should be going, and then the tower should glow orange. Now again, you have to find your Mahjong tile step, which finding it corresponds to the certain colors and your order. Again, the first symbol is going to be at the tower. It's always going to be north. The second one is going to be the escalator. The third one is going to be at spawn. The fourth one is going to be next to the PDW, just behind the store. Just make sure that you are able to see that. The fifth one is going to be next to where the power box is at the nav card. The sixth one is at the MP5 kitchen. The seventh one is on the cushion, again with the MP5. The eighth one is below the Galva Knuckle shaft, below the window barrier. The ninth one is next to the teddy bear in the Buddha room. The 10th one is in the cage room behind the Sliquifier buildable table. And the 11th one is going to be in the power room. Once you have found all of them, they will give you a code to be able to hit the tower with the Galva Knuckles. So my code for this Easter egg was west, east, south, north, and I was able to beat the Maxis Side Easter egg and yet again get all of the perks for Die Rise.